You can now file your taxes on time. The IRS is clearing up some confusion after advising taxpayers to wait to file their tax returns. The agency now says it's decided not to tax most states' stimulus checks from 2022, which had prompted that delay.
Now, of course, there are some exceptions. So the agency says it is best to consult your state and or tax preparer. In all, 21 states issued special relief checks to residents last year for a number of different reasons. For instance, in California, most residents received a middle-class tax refund to offset those record-high gas prices.
Folks, we got a ton of news about the fourth stimulus check and Social Security benefits that you have to know. We got a ton of news just for you, so continue watching this video. You don't want to miss out on this. So folks, I believe that President Biden can make a stimulus check and send it out before the end of the year. Do you believe that he will? Tell me in the comments. There is exciting news. The top Democrats are working together to propose a new relief plan. It will provide millions of families with extra cash every month. These payments could be worth as much as $600. Now, there may be strict requirements for eligibility, and also millions of families benefited by the expanded child tax credit. In order to help out President Biden's trillion-dollar stimulus law, it's a $2 trillion stimulus law. Hundreds of thousands of more employees without dependent children also received increased payments under the law, which increased tax credits going to low and middle income workers. The figures were released by the Biden administration as it neared the first anniversary of the stimulus law, passed a year ago over the unanimous Republican opposition. Biden signed the bill, which also included $1,400 directly to Americans who need it the most. So that's a good way to get started with your fourth stimulus check. So it's good to see people can get stimulus. The figures were released by the Biden administration as it neared the first anniversary of the stimulus law, passed over a year ago over unanimous Republican opposition. Biden signed the bill and restored at least $1,400 directly payments to most Americans. I also want to say the payments were about $1.75 trillion of the $2 trillion stimulus bill. So a lot of money went to those in need. A lot of money went to expanding healthcare coverage, lowering childcare and prescription costs. The latest data report shows that thousands of additional Americans became eligible for relief payments since the law was signed. That includes families who had children in 2021, as well as those who did not take advantage of receiving half their credit in monthly payments and preferred to claim the entire amount when they filed their tax returns this year. But Democratic Senator Cory Booker recently stated that these were the resources toward working families that can make a big difference in people's lives. It can help out those who need the most. It can help out people who need help. First of all, Democratic Senator Cory Booker has recently stated that people can expect to get stimulus cash. People can expect to get stimulus money pretty soon. Found that the relief payments did not even discourage the parents for looking back into work. And the U.S. Census Bureau reported that around half of those receiving the checks spent some of it on food, about 40% on the rent and mortgage, and 30% on school supplies. Senator Booker is already helping to lead the effort on Capitol Hill to restore the extra relief payments and to restore the money to those who need it. Folks, do you need a fourth stimulus? Tell me in the comments. New Mexico and other states and congressional Democrats are trying to come up with a bill that Manchin can still vote for, without losing the backing of others who may abandon that support. If certain provisions are excluded, federal deduction will happen for the federal and state local taxes. An assault. It was capped at around $10,000, but now the New Mexico state residents are actually trying to fix things up. Because now New Mexico has enacted a new state-level child tax credit that will provide benefits to every single child throughout the state, increasing the credit to an even a more abundant amount of people in America. This means that around $750 to $1,500 is expected to go to you and the people that need the most. You can be getting a lot of stimulus cash, everybody, and a whole bunch of stimulus money will be headed straight into your bank. President Biden is doing all that it takes for people to get the fourth stimulus check because for the second year in a row, lawmakers have pursued rebate legislation. And lawmakers already passed two different rebate-based bills, and one bill sent out $250, one other sent out $500, all based on your adjusted gross income.
The IRS says people who got stimulus checks or tax rebates in 2022 do not need to pay taxes on those payments on this year's federal tax return.
Love talking about taxes.
Oh, it's a wonderful topic.
The agency clarifying after first telling folks to hold off, and they say they will not challenge the taxability of payments related to Jennifer Welfare
Fund. Carmen Balber from Consumer Watchdog says absolutely nothing.
They either sent you a check in the mail or they put the money in your bank account. So all you have to do is wait for that money to show up in your direct deposit account, if that's how you got your tax refund, or the state at the end of the month will start mailing debit card.
Family members, friends, it was hard. And while the $1,400 stimulus payment for Roll will be used to catch up on bills, for mother of two Tonetta Lane Bynes,
what we're going to do with the stimulus money is really save it.
While Lane Bynes says she will use the money to prepare for a rainy day.
JEA doesn't stop sending their bills.
It's good, everybody. The lawmakers have unveiled a new timeline for the next round of checks. This includes new deposit dates for the month of November. Republicans are now pushing for monthly relief payments to go out to a more targeted group of people. These checks may be worth up to $1,400 in fact, and some get $2,000. So the IRS has announced that more than 9 million individuals and families could be leaving money on the table by not filing a 2021 federal tax return. Last week, the Federal Tax Agency began sending letters to those people that had identified who could be missing out on payments through tax credits that could put money in their pockets. That money includes a third round of stimulus checks worth $1,400 per person, child tax credits of up to $3,600 per child, and the earned income tax credit worth up to $1,500 for childless workers, which goes up to $6,700 for filers with 3 more children. Notably, families who received advance monthly child tax credit payments in 2021 for up to half the value of the credit can still receive and file the rest of the money for which they're eligible. The American Rescue Plan, which was enacted in 2021, authorized the stimulus checks through the Recovery Rebate credit and also made existing child tax and earned income tax credits more generous. As a result, some individuals and families became newly eligible for the money, including those who did not file a tax return due to having little to no income. In addition, filers may also qualify for 2 expanded credits, the Child and Dependent Care Credit, for up to $4,000 for one qualifying person or $8,000 for both. The IRS Commissioner also said that the IRS wants to remind potentially eligible people, families, that they qualify for these valuable tax credits, and millions of eligible taxpayers fail to receive and claim the credits for which they are eligible every year. A recent report for the Bipartisan Policy Center said that was largely attributable to administrative barriers such as misperceptions about the necessary qualifications and claiming complexity. The IRS emphasized that claiming the 2021 credits will not affect eligibility for federal benefits through programs including SNAP and SSI. In addition, another tool will let filers use a simplified online tool in order to claim the third stimulus check and the earned income tax credit through the end of November. The tool was recently updated to include the Earned Income Tax Credit. And to be sure, tax filers generally have up to 3 years from the original filing deadline to claim the tax credits for which they're eligible for. The Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf and his administration reintroduced his proposed Pennsylvania Opportunity Plan that would use American Rescue Plan dollars to send direct payments to Pennsylvania residents. This $1.7 billion plan will assist families with childcare, job training, broadband, and after-school programs. The governor said this money was a life-changing difference for families and communities across the Commonwealth, providing a much-needed buffer against prices that are artificially and temporarily higher due to inflation. And now the governor also said there is a crisis relief state assistance SB.
Fair.